What's up guys, I'm Steven, and today my friend Jake is going to show me how to make resin casts from silicone molds. So the Glowtie Kickstarter went super well, and now I have a bunch of orders to fill. There are 2 plastic parts in the Glowtie. There is the bumper, and then there's the back frame. Jake has done a bunch of casting, so he's gonna show me the best way to make these parts. Jake has an awesome channel where he makes a whole bunch of cool prop stuff. You can check that out right over here. All right, so Jake, how the heck are we gonna make all of these things?
Okay, so at a high level, all you need to do for casting these parts is first make a negative of your part. So you start with a 3D printed part, you cast silicone around that, and then now you have your mold. You can cast polyurethane or whatever material that we're going to use today to cast your actual part.
Sweet, rock and roll. So we've got some epoxy here, and this is the actual stuff that we're going to pour into the silicone mold that's going to make the actual parts that we want. Then we got a bunch of silicone, and this is going to make the rubbery mold that's going to, I don't know, that we pour the resin into. And this is going to kind of hold the negative shape of the parts that we want. So today we're just going to do the bumper, and once I kind of cut my teeth on this a little bit, I'll dive into the back frame, but today we're just doing the bumper. All right. Let's do it.
Perfect.
All right, so what are we doing right now?
So right now we're building the box that we're going to pour our silicone into so that we can make the mold.
Okay.
So this is made out of styrene. This is probably 1/8 inch thick. And all I did to make this is just score the edge of the styrene and then snapped it over the edge of the table. So right now we're going to do that one more time, and then we'll have the bottom of the mold.
Sweet. All right, so I just sanded the backside of this print down just a little bit, so when we glue it down to the bottom of the box that we're pouring all the silicone into, it won't kind of eke around underneath, and then when we pull it out, we'll get all that flashing.
And we're just going to use a little bit of thin super glue to keep this down. You want to do this one?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, just, you know, when like you have a whole bunch of super glue that you're doing something and it just like gets in your eyes? Not the actual
Like the
glue,
fuse.
but like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. Oh man, dude, it's coming together. That's hot.
Ah, that's hot.
Ah, Mark-ass Brownlee. All right, so we've had the silicone mold sitting for a couple hours, but we realized like, what was it, like 10 minutes after we poured it?
Yeah, it was almost immediately after that we realized
That we did not put mold release on it. But we're gonna rip it out and see if hopefully we don't rip the silicone, which is pretty much the failure mode here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we just finished cleaning up our 2 silicone molds. They were not very well glued onto the styrene, so a lot of silicone kind of eked underneath them. So we just took a knife and like I took some nippers and just kind of cleaned them up a little bit. So when we cast them, they'll be a little bit cleaner and we'll need to do some less sanding. But Jake and I both work at Formlabs. That's actually how we met each other. And Formlabs recently came out with a resin called Elastic. This is actually 3D printed on a resin printer. And we're gonna try and use this instead of a silicone mold and try and cast epoxy directly into it, effectively skipping everything you've seen so far and being able to just print a flexible mold right out of the gate. All right, so we poured a bunch of resin into our silicone molds and it's time to take them out, but we did do a quick test with this little key mold that we did originally and it came out super flimsy. It is really, really easy to just bend it just like that, so we do not have high hopes for the actual bumpers because they're about the same thickness. So we're gonna take them out of the molds. They've been sitting for what, like 36 hours or so?
Yeah, roughly.
And see how well they came out.
Do you want some gloves?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just following the rule of 3s, you know.
What do you mean?
The top 3 priorities are have fun, look cool, and be safe in that order. While you're doing that, I'm gonna start working on the 3D printed mold.
Great. All right, so I just got the one out of the silicone mold.
It cracked already.
No! No! Ugh! Bogus.
I think these 2 pieces are chemically bonded together.
That is literally the last thing you want to hear when casting something.
Yeah, it's this part is not coming out.
The resin that I bought from Amazon, the really janky off-brand stuff, said that you should let it sit for 24 hours. We did that, we took it out, it was totally not enough, and then it kind of like got all smushed. But then this one's been sitting for like 36 and change, and this one's much more dimensionally accurate. It's still like, definitely has some bow to it. It's not nearly as rigid as I was hoping for.
There.
Oh shit. We think that the reason for that is probably because this part is so thin, and it just didn't quite cure as fast and as quickly as we were hoping for it to. We have one mold left. This is with the
polyester resin in a silicone mold.
So we're gonna give that a try. This is like the Hail Mary. This really is not gonna work out for a Glowtie. If this doesn't work, we're gonna have to go with 3D printing them instead, which is totally fine and totally works, and that's how all the prototypes have been built so far. This is just an exercise to see if there's a faster and cheaper way to make these bumpers for all the backers. If it doesn't work, we'll just go with printing. Good old-fashioned 3D printing. So let's do it.
Yeah, this came right out.
Nice.
The material properties are not gonna cut it though.
Right.
Super flimsy.
Yep.
It's not gonna retain shape.
These bow ties need to withstand the demands of war. Well, there you have it. We are not gonna cast the Glowtie frames because that's just not gonna cut the mustard. I mean, despite the fact that they're super weak, it is still unbelievably cool to see. Like, we're asking a lot of these. I think is important to say. Like the ridges in here are like, I don't know, 300 microns. It's like ridiculously tight tolerances, and they come out. It's just that the material is not quite there. You can get really just a stupid amount of detail out of a silicone mold.
Yeah.
Well, that was a partial total failure. We got no good parts for the Glowtie out of that whole process, but we did find out a lot about the actual geometry of the Glowtie bumper. Moving forward, I'm not gonna cast the bumper in the Glowtie. Still might try and do it for the frame because that part has a little bit more meat on its bones. If we just make a whole big ol' honkin' silicone mold and we cast a whole bunch of resin in it all at once, that's a really quick and efficient way to do it. So I'm gonna see what I can do to make that happen with the frame. The bumper was total plots.
Just not gonna happen.
Just no chance in heck. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Jake's channel. There's a little link thingy-mabobber right there where you can go click on his video where he walks you through step-by-step everything we did here to make all these different molds and all these different casts. And I'll see you next time.